Hi, welcome to this video tutorial series SQL for beginners. So I've left the link for you to download my SQL Workbench so you can walk along with me. So let's just go straight and start learning our SQL. Let me click here and then it's asking for my password. Good. Now we are inside. Okay, so you see here we have administration and then we have schemas here. We go to schemas. This is where we would find our database. And then you see here, they've already created some sample. MySQL comes with some sample database for you. Let me just click here. Let you see there's an example of a table in the database. You have actor ID, last name, last update. So let me just click here so you can see, for example, data insight. So this is something you can be using for your training or to play with, but then we will not focus on that now. We will create our own database from scratch. So let me just go ahead, right click, create schema. Then now I'll just put here, let me just give the name tutorial. Then we go apply, click on apply, and just put finish. Okay, fine, let's close this. So now you see our database tutorial has been created. So if we click inside, we see we have tables, it's empty, views, stored procedures, functions. So don't worry about these other ones here. We'll look at them in later videos or in the more advanced series, but for now let us focus on tables here, creating our table and querying our table. So let me just go straight here and then I'll click on create table. So there is one thing you need to understand here. As it is here dark here, it means we have highlighted this circular um, database. So if we create our table here, it's going to go into this circular database, and that's not what we want. So we have to click here. So we focus our attention. We say we are now in this database, and then anything we are doing here, we are working, sending our commands to this database. So let's move on now, create table. Another thing you notice here is that even if you put this as table with small letters, it will still be okay. But then for convention and for good practice, we want you to put this in capital letters so that your command create table is in capital letters. Then now you can have now your staff name in your small letters. That's the sorry, staff table. Let's give it the name staff table. So that's the table we want to create. So create table staff table, and then now we start creating the column names. So let's start with first name. No, let's start with staff ID. Yes. Now let's go staff ID, staff ID, and then what type, what data type would it be? It would be integer. So it's integer. Then now let us go to the next column, because this is the first column, and then we are saying that this column will be made up of integers. So we'll have our staff ID like 101, 102, 103. That's why we are specifying these like this. Then the next now is the first name. First name. Now we could go on like this, on this line like this. SQL would still be able to read it, but then somebody reading your code, even you later on, you might be confused. That is why we want you to follow the best practice, which is each command per line. Like create table is already on this line. Now we bring this one on this line. We press enter again so that we open our brackets on this second line. Then our staff ID, which would be the first column, will be on its own line. Now we bring down the first name on its own line. So continue in that line. And then what is the data type that we expect for this first name? We expect it to be character, like text. Now how many characters maximum could a first name be? Maybe it could be long, it could be some countries, it could be long, it could be, but then let's just put 15, and then we put our comma. Last name, how long, what is the maximum last name we expect for our staff. Let's still just put the same 15 there, and then now we go to the next, which is age. We want to measure their ages, so this is an integer. 20, 25, 30 is an integer. Now the next one is the gender. Let us keep check what gender, male, female. So this is gender here. Let's just put the same 15. Even though we name male, female is not up to 15, let's just leave it like that. Okay, this is the last, so we don't need this comma here. Press enter, and if you see here, we have this red thing here. Now when I close, you see it disappears, so it means our command is fine. And then if we do it like this, we click here, you see we've successfully created our table. So create staff table, 0 rows affected, so there's no data inside. So let's go here, refresh this, and then you see we have this new staff table, and down here we have it, the staff ID integer, first name, character, all that we did. Okay, so that is fine. Now the next thing now we want to do now is to be able to insert at least the first row of data to see how it's going to look like. So let us go, start with our command here, insert into, again with writing them with capital letters is what is good. Then now, where do we want to insert them to? We have to tell SQL we want to insert them into the staff table. Yes. Now what do we want to insert? Really, we want to insert values into the staff table. Okay, then that's fine. Now let's move on to the next line. So we now enter the first row of data that we want. So we'll enter in this same order that we have up here: the staff ID, the first name, last name, age, gender. So let's start with the staff ID. Now let's go to 101, name, first name, John, next name, last name, Ambe. Then you have the age, 25, sex, male, close, and then now we close our bracket. Okay, now this red thing here is here because the create table, we consider it's like it's considering it, the command is starting right from here till down here, because we haven't been able to separate these two. So let's say, for example, we decided to comment this out. Let me just show you. We go to edit, we go to format, we go to on or comment section. You see, now when we comment this out, it means the SQL is not reading this anymore, because it's just like a comment. So it's not reading it anymore, and then this is when now we can be able to run this successfully. But let's do the right thing. Let us go back. First we put on comments, then we end the statement as SQL expects. So now with the semicolon that we've added here at the end, you see it shows that this is the first command which starts here and ends here, and then this is the second command which also starts here and ends here. So let us insert this one. Let's go that now. So we say one row affected, so this is it. Let us go in and check. Let's right click here, go to select rows. It shows us the limit of first 1000 rows. Okay, so now we have the first entry which we've done is John Ambe 25, staff ID 101, correct. So now what do you notice here? You notice here that the name has been is tutorial dot staff table. So it's not staff table, it's longer now, referring to the database. So now let us see, now that we are in this database, let us see. So if we remove this, for example, and then we run this again, let's just select it so that we are sure we are running that. We run that, you see we get the same thing. So now that it's on this table tutorial, writing a tutorial is not a big issue. It's okay whether you put tutorial or not. But had it been, for example, we had selected, say, circular, and then we try to run this without, you see we get an error. Table circular staff table doesn't exist. So It is trying to search in circular to find this staff table and it's not finding it. So that is why we need now to come in front here and then we put our tutorial in front here, put the dot tutorial. Then as it is in circular, we run it. You see, we are able to find, it's able to find this table no matter where we are. Even if we are on my codes, we run this, it's able to find it no matter where we are. So let's go back to our tutorial and then maybe just reduce this so that we don't have this long thing here. Then now we can say, now let us understand our first query command. This is our main command. Like data analyst, we are mostly focused on selecting, querying data. Our main job is not to create, to delete, to update. It is to collect the data we select, for example, and the other commands we'll see in this series, and be able to come up with analysis or insight and share with the rest of our team. So let us look at this command now. Select. It is saying select star from this staff table. So it is saying select. This star is just to indicate that we want all these columns. Let me just take out the star and then I put, for example, select, say, staff. Let's just click here, select staff ID from staff table. So let's run this. You see, it gives us just the staff ID. So we could have said, let's say we could have said staff ID and maybe first name, for example, and then we run this. So we have staff ID and first name. So if you want to select all the columns, you don't want to type them one by one. That is why we use this select star here to be able to run this, and then we get all the columns we created: staff ID, last name, first name, last name, age, gender. Okay, I think that is fine now. So for us to be able to play with this thing, let us go and add more values here, more observations here. Let's say Mary and all the other names here. So I'll just copy, not to waste time, I'll just copy script I already wrote. So let me just copy that and then we add that there. So copy that, copy, and then I bring it here. Yes, down here, paste there. So here we just run this as this. I'll just run this now. Okay, so we've inserted 9 values inside. Let me go again and copy more, but let's end this our statement here. Then we go again and copy. I'll create a second table. You will see when you query the table, you would see the table I created. So let me just go ahead and copy and paste here. So let us also run this one. Then we also close it here. Now that was creating the columns for the second table. Let me now insert the values for the second table, and then we would move on with our play with those tables. So let's see, this is it. Let me also run this here. Then now let us also end this like this. Fine. Okay, so what have we done? Let us go and verify. Let me refresh. Then now I'll click on the staff salary, for example. That's a new table we created. We click on select rows. We see it here. Let me click on the first table. We select here. Good. So what do we see now? We have more lines here. So you see here, select staff from our tutorial staff tables. So we could still decide to select our first column, like we said, staff ID. I'll just click here, select that. These are the staff IDs. Now let's look at the salary. What is there? So see, select staff from tutorial staff salary. I said it doesn't matter with this or not because we are in the database tutorial, remember. So let us select a single column there and see. So we select staff ID here. For example, we run it Here we have our staff ID. Let's go back and check. We had salary. Let's see salary. Let's select it. We run it. You see we have our salary. So let's say we select staff ID and salary. For example, let's run it. So we have our staff ID and salary. And then we can go back and put our star here. Our star. We say we want to select star. We click on that, and then you see we are able to select all the columns that are in this table. So I'm going to leave the script description of this video for you to be able to create these tables, follow through like me, and then we are going to continue with the next video with our group by. And if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel, share with your friends. Thank you and have a nice day.